I'm super excited. Like, I'm really, really excited. I saw pictures of it before. I hadn't been here before, and I saw pictures of it, and I was like, oh my God, it feels huge. And it is a big theater, but it feels very intimate. And so I'm really excited to make this kind of big epic story in a intimate space, and what that feels like, because I think the audience becomes part of the story. They're very, very good actors, so I just am trying to get out of everybody's way and let them do their thing. And everybody is committed in a kind of way that's really refreshing. So you come to work every day and everybody is up for trying stuff out and breaking things and then putting them back together and moving things around and really diving into the emotional heart of the storytelling and the clarity of the storytelling. This play was written hundreds of years ago, and there's some really challenging themes in the play, and I feel that the kind of people that they are willing to have really complex, honest discussions about those challenges and what that means for us now, what it means about what you say about women, what it means what you say about the LGBTQI plus community. You know, it means we are making a piece because of their honesty and their giving nature. It means that we're making a piece that feels really now. It feels like a part of the society that we live in, and it feels like all of those conversations are really live. The thing about Romeo and Juliet, that play, for me, is it is a love story, but something really terrible happens halfway through that changes the whole course of the play. And I thought, well, what does that feel like for a community? What does that feel like for those two families? What does that feel like to be in a place where you are given the choice of love and compassion and caring? You choose something different. Ultimately, we have people who live in communities with people who have been killed and people who have killed. And what does that feel like for that community? I think it says something profound about the human spirit, that we are in a constant flux and questioning about what our morality is in that respect. Do we choose violence after that, or do we choose compassion after that? And I don't know the answer to that. And I guess the play offers us a way of reflecting on that question and a way of seeing what that feels like for us without ever having to go through it, as horrible as it was for somebody to go through. But it feels like the play gives us an opportunity to ask that of ourselves without having to experience it. I couldn't make this show without understanding like what Manchester felt like, what the audience might be for this, and what the buzz of the city was. Because every city has a different kind of feeling. You know, London feels a certain way, Birmingham feels a certain way, New York feels a certain way. And then I went to some schools and met some incredible students. The thing that stuck with me was I met these three girls. I was asking them questions about what it felt like to grow up here and what it was like to live here at this point in time. And they were all speaking like 3 different languages to each other, right? And they were all answering each other either in English or the other language that they were speaking in. And I was like, what is going on? And I was like, do you all understand all these languages? And they're like, no, but we kind of get the sense of what you're saying and we can answer it, blah, 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 blah. And then I walked away from that experience going, I want to make this show for those 3 human beings. They were so articulate, so intelligent, so full of life and heart and big of spirit and generous with their time and generous with their ideas. And Manchester feels like that by extension, right? Manchester genuinely feels like you could be whoever you are and you could be accepted here. And I know there's divisions in communities and people have difficulties and there's, you know, tribalism and postcode stuff and where you live and all that stuff. I know that exists. What it feels like, however, when you walk around the city is that everybody is comfortable to be themselves. And it feels like everybody else is accepting of that. And I would like to make a show that feels like that they feel like we know this community, we know these people, we know who they are, we understand them, and they feel like us.